Hi, I'm Pam Gigante here at the beautiful Ziff Ballet Opera House at the Adrienne Arsht Center. Welcome to a special edition of Six in the Mix, previewing the Adrienne Arsht Center's 2016-2017 Broadway season. The Arsht Center is celebrating its 10th anniversary, and the celebration continues into their 11th season with some of Broadway's biggest hits. From a mind-blowing magic extravaganza to a Rodgers and Hammerstein classic and everything in between, the 2016-2017 season has something for everyone.
Along with Broadway Across America and Bank of America, the Adrienne Arsht Center for the Performing Arts is thrilled to present the 2016-2017 Broadway in Miami season.
The neon lights may shine bright on Broadway, but they're also shining bright right here in Miami at the Adrienne Arsht Center.
We do open the season with a magic spectacular, The Illusionist, which thrilled audiences on Broadway in New York. The Arsht Center is the only place that gets the best of the touring Broadway shows in the city. So if you want to see the best of Broadway, it only comes to the Arsht Center.
From South Florida premieres like The Illusionist and An American in Paris, to crowd pleasers like Jersey Boys and Annie. Plus, beautiful The Carole King musical, Dirty Dancing, and Rodgers and Hammerstein's The King and I, South Florida is in for a show-stopping, heart-racing, unforgettable season.
Nothing can replace live theater. It is magical when you hear that live voice. It's not a recording. It's happening in real time. You know that they could mess up their lines, but they don't because they're so good at it.
You think it's easy running a group, dealing with the club owners, the managers, the record companies. Well, I took care of it!
Seeing a show at the Arsht Center is extremely special because we have a state-of-the-art facility, we have a beautiful venue, and you feel like you're in New York on Broadway while you're still here in Miami, and then you get to go home afterwards. We hope our guests will come away energized, humming their favorite tune for a few weeks, and looking forward to the next Broadway hit here at the Arsht Center.
I know that's how I usually feel after I've seen a show. Speaking of shows, you can have the time of your life when Dirty Dancing, the classic story on stage, comes to the Arsht Center. Full of passion and romance, heart-pounding music, and sexy dancing, the stage version of the hit film is just as good as the movie, maybe even better.
The stage musical is over 2 hours, so I could put in an awful lot of things that I wished I could have used in the movie and didn't have time. More dance numbers and more about Baby and Johnny and the parents. So it's everything that the movie had and a great deal more.
We have amazing vocalists and amazing dancers and an amazing talented cast and crew up there that really deliver a very solid, wonderful product, and you won't regret coming.
Rachel Boone, who plays Baby, is a wonderful partner to work with on stage, and yeah, we just get along and have a blast.
I mean, but everything that you knew and loved in the movie is on stage, only it is present and happening before your eyes.
Penny Johnson is Johnny Castle's dance partner, and they're best friends, and they work at this resort called Kellerman's, which is like kind of an upscale resort in upstate New York. And they put on shows, and you know, they take care of the guests. And Penny runs into some trouble, and this young woman, Baby Houseman, kind of steps in to help out, and Baby and Johnny kind of fall in love and find this summer fling, and Penny's just kind of, you know, in the middle of the drama and kind of helps bring these people together.
It's a sort of coming of age story that resonates even now. I mean, that's sort of your very first, you know, is something that we all, you know, experience, hopefully, and we can all sort of connect to. And also this sort of idea of the class struggle between, you know, Johnny and Baby, this sort of uptown and, you know, downtown sort of guy. It's like, you know, that's timeless.
She finds this defeated person. She makes him believe in himself. As events work out, she seems as if she's destroyed, and he comes back to present her to herself in front of the world.
It's an epic film, it's an epic story. There's a lot of dance. It's a play with music. I get to act a lot. I end the show in a beautiful lift in a bright, pink, shiny, twirly dress. I'm having a blast.
And you can see Dirty Dancing November 29th through December 4th right here at the Arsht Center. To learn more about the show and the new season, visit arshcenter.org. Coming up, what do you get when you bring 7 of the world's greatest magicians together on stage? Find out when our 6 in the Mix 2016-2017 Broadway season preview special returns. Welcome back to the special edition of 6 in the Mix. I'm Pam Gigante. The inventor, the anti-conjurer, the trickster, the escapologist, the manipulator, the weapon master, and the deceptionist. Their names alone should pique your interest, but this magnificent 7 will take you on a thrill ride when The Illusionist, live from Broadway, makes its South Florida premiere at the Arsht Center.
The Illusionist show is a show that cannot be missed. It's a unique chance to see 7 of the best magicians joining the same stage together, performing their A material.
Instead of seeing one person perform for 2 hours, where you get the same vibe, or you get the same voice, you get the same point of view, here you get to see people that are all at the top of their game, and they all have very specific styles.
All of these different magicians from all over the world converge at one time to make a one-of-a-kind show.
When Simon Painter first asked us to find a character, to find a moniker, something that we could hang our specialty on, he said it in a kind of a funny way. He said, if you were a magic superhero, what would your superpower be? And I chose the inventor because I invent all my own magic, and I felt like it was a big playground to play in. I could pretty much do anything.
As the escapologist, I bring Houdini's most difficult and dangerous escape. His water torture cell escape, but with a modern twist, with no covers, no curtains, so showing people that there are no illusions, no trickery involved, but the real skills of the escapologist.
What makes up the trickster? Lots of coffee and lying, cheating, and stealing. I'm the levity in the show. I make sure things don't get too serious. Just when things start seeming that people are screaming or they're in shock because of what they're just seeing, I come out and go, and we let people know that we're also here to have fun and laugh.
I hope people go back home with an experience, something they felt more than something they've seen, a sense of wonder, a sense of being a kid again.
It's a beautiful feeling, and I remember it vividly. The first time I saw a magic effect, I knew instantly that's what I wanted to do the rest of my life. For 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you can come with your grandkids, and just experience that sense of wonder together. It's a beautiful family show. It's exciting. There's some amazing stuff, and I guarantee you there'll be things you've never seen before.
All I can say is, wow. You can see The Illusionist when they kick off the new Broadway and Miami season, October the 11th through the 16th at the Adrienne Arsht Center. The Illusionist isn't the only magical performance of the season. This next show is the winner of 4 Tony Awards, including Best Musical Revival, and is considered to be one of Rodgers and Hammerstein's finest works. Get ready to be swept away by The King and I.
The story opens with the arrival of Anna Leonowens at the court of King Maha Mangut of Siam. And his kingdom is under some transition and change, and he needs help. And so begins a kind of very adult romance between the king and the school teacher as she brings education and transformation to his community and country and teaches his kids. It has extraordinary music. It has one of the great ballets, dance numbers in the history of musical theater by Jerome Robbins. It's always considered one of the great, great, great musicals really ever written.
You count 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Shall we dance?
1, 2, 3, and
On a bright cloud of music, shall we fly?
1, 2, 3, and
Shall we dance?
If you come to see King and I, you're going to see a world you've never been to ever. That's very, very strange and transformative. You're going to hear people sing songs that are deeply American but deeply unique and expressing them in a way we can't in real life. And you're going to see artists dancing and acting and singing in a way probably as well as can be done.
Shall we still be together with our arms around each other until you...
When I went to design it, I was going more for a kind of more, what I would feel is a more truthful take on the space of the world. So mine's, only way I describe it is more like a temple, you know, like ruined in a mountainside. You know, where it feels ancient. It feels like you're really going back to something quite strange. And it's not noted by its gold, but more by its richness of texture and color. So I wanted it to not feel exotic. I wanted it to feel truthful to the culture of Thailand. You get kind of 2 for 1 if you come to this, because they're both going to really enjoy it as a musical, and they might learn something about their own history, about the history of the 19th century, and about how cultures change and adapt and go through new things. When you set foot in the door and you come to see it, you will go somewhere you've never been before.
So beautiful, and those costumes. Rodgers and Hammerstein's The King and I will be at the Arsht Center May the 9th through the 14th. You won't want to miss it. Coming up, they wrote their own songs, invented their own sounds, and sold 175 million records worldwide, all before they were 30. We speak to the director of Jersey Boys and take you on an exclusive backstage tour. And if you'd like to learn more about any of the shows you've seen so far, visit arshcenter.org. You can also follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the special edition of 6 in the Mix. I'm Pam Gigante. Our next show is the winner of 4 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, as well as a Grammy for Best Musical Show Album. Jersey Boys takes you behind the music and inside the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
If I knew the secret of Jersey Boys' success, I would be working on it right now. It's got, fantastic music, there's no question. But I actually think it's the story that people find addictive. It's a fantastic story. It's a story that I guarantee you'll never forget.
You're from my neighborhood, you got 3 ways out. You could join the army, you could get mobbed up, or you could become a star.
It's really important to the story that there's a kind of an optimism and a dream that drives the band. I mean, these guys were, their parents had all come over from Italy. And so they came from very modest beginnings. And, they had rough upbringings. 2 of the guys in the band had done a combination of 16 years in reform school and the penitentiary before the band broke. And that's an enormous amount of time. They actually learned to play their instruments in prison. And I think they did buy into the American dream and make a big investment in it.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch.
These guys went to hell and back for their music. They went to hell and back, and they pulled it off. And it is a remarkable story.
Oh, pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray. Oh, pretty baby, now that I found you, stay and let me love you, baby. Let me love you.
Hi, my name is Chad Lewis, and I'm a stage manager at Jersey Boys Broadway, and I'm going to show you around. Come on. The show is chunked into the 4 different seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And the actual color schemes for each of those seasons corresponds with that season. So for example, like in the fall, all the clothes have like browns and oranges and things to represent fall. And it's very cool. So each season has its own pop of color when you watch the show, which is brilliant. This is one of our quick change rooms, and throughout the show, actors are constantly getting in and out of costumes, and they're changing characters. And so this is a place where, for example, the girls change like 18 times throughout the show. They are changing a lot. And they'll come in here, and some of their changes are like 12, 15 seconds, and you basically have a team of hair people and wardrobe people that choreograph one costume coming off and another costume coming on. Basically, we're directly below the stage. Right above us, the ceiling is where the actors are doing the show. And at any given point throughout the show, this elevator takes props up to the stage, they're used, and then it comes back down, and we rotate things on and off of this throughout the entire show. This is kind of like the control center. This is where it all happens. There's one person on the script at all times, and they call all the cues. So all the scenery goes off their cueing, all of the lighting goes off their cueing, some of the sound effects go off their cueing, and we're watching all of the stuff happen in the monitors to make sure it all comes together safe, and all of the actors are in, you know, okay places, and they don't get run down by some scenery and everything. So this is fun. I hope you guys had fun on the Jersey Boys tour, and we will see you soon in Miami.
Oh, what a night you'll have when Jersey Boys takes the Arsht Center stage April the 4th through the 9th. And trust me, when you see this show, you'll be dancing and singing all night long. Coming up, before she became a star in her own right, she wrote hits for some of the biggest acts in rock and roll. And a romantic Gershwin musical is making its South Florida premiere. We speak to the leads. One of them has ties to South Florida when the special edition of 6 in the Mix returns. Welcome back. I'm Pam Gigante. Carole King has written and performed some of the world's best-known songs, but she started out as a teenager writing songs for others to perform. Winner of 2 Tony Awards, Beautiful, the Carole King musical, is about King's remarkable rise to stardom and how she discovered her true voice.
One fine day, you'll look at me, and you will know I was meant to be.
Beautiful is the story of Carole King at age 16 in 1959, leaving her home in Brooklyn, crossing the bridge into New York City to sell her first song, and follows her career from that very first song all the way through to the creation of her iconic album Tapestry. It's about her and her relationship with her first husband and collaborator, Jerry Goffin, with whom she wrote a lot of songs in the 60s. And also it's a story about their best friends, Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil, who worked in the next office over and who had a friendly competitiveness with Jerry and Carole. And so the two writing teams were pitted against each other to see who could come up with the next #1 hit.
You make me feel like a natural woman.
She had this amazing career writing for other artists. Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, she wrote for the Shirelles. Some Kind of Wonderful, she wrote for the Drifters. The Locomotion, which is the only song that has been #1 in 3 different decades.
You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful, so beautiful, you're beautiful.
The 2 writing teams are competing to write a song for the Shirelles. And there's a moment where Carole comes in the next morning, and Jerry's been working all night working on the lyrics, and he's asleep on the couch, and she pulls the lyrics off of his chest and goes over to the piano and puts them down and plays Tonight You're Mine completely for the very first time. And you can just feel the audience go, ah.
Tonight you're mine completely. You give your love so sweetly.
It has heart, it has humor, it has glitz, it has that showbiz side of things, and it also has the human scale performance of just one woman singing a great, great song.
You can see Beautiful, the Carole King musical, February 14th through the 19th at the Arsht Center. Our next show takes you to the newly liberated Paris after World War II. It's a time of hope, new beginnings, and of course, love. Winner of 4 Tony Awards, An American in Paris will steal your heart.
If you can't make it to Paris this year, you can make it to Paris by seeing our show, and it'll feel like you're being taken away there. An American in Paris is a musical about an American soldier just after World War II. He's on the GI Bill, he's an artist. So he stayed on in Paris to learn from the masters. And the show starts and he's sketching and he's running through the streets of Paris and seeing the city as it transforms from a bit of a dark place after the war and sort of breathing itself alive. He meets a girl and chases her through the city. He finds a place to live and he falls in love with that girl and makes some friends along the way, and the rest of it you have to come and see.
Still I always keep the memory of.
We had a lot of rehearsal time before we even went on the stage. We were, months just getting everything, the feeling right and the dance steps correct and meshing it together and really sinking into what now is our show to dance and then all of a sudden start singing. It's shocking. Yeah. So it's definitely, I think, harder to do all three, especially where, we're used to not using our voices on stage, coming from the dancing world. But I like it.
The version that we're doing on the road is the exact version that we do every night here on Broadway. And we do it every night here on Broadway. Yeah. So we're bringing exactly what we do out on the road. So the people in Miami and every other city are going to see what happens every night in New York City, the Palace Theater.
The way she holds her knife, the way she danced till 3.
I'm so excited to come back to the Arsht Center. It's going to be really bittersweet. You're going to have to deal with me being like a blubbering mess the whole time because I grew up, dancing in that theater. I was in the Miami City Ballet for 10 years. So I really learned my craft there. I can't wait to go back. It's one of my favorite theaters, and it'll be really special.
Our cast is filled with people from all different backgrounds. So people from ballet companies like us, but then people also who've been in musical theater for years and years and years. Yeah. So we were sort of absorbing all of their information, and we were able to ask them questions while they were able to ask us questions about the dancing. So it created this really cool blend.
It was so funny.
We were all learning from each other. We still are.
Yeah.
If you want to be swept away, if you want to be inspired, and if you ever want to fall in love.
You can get lost in the City of Lights when An American in Paris hits the stage December 27th through January the 1st. What a nice way to kick off the new year. Well, we've reached the end of our show, but before we go, here's a recap of the 2016-2017 Broadway and Miami season at the Arsht Center. And remember to visit arshcenter.org for more information. Thanks for joining us for the special edition of Six in the Mix, previewing the 2016-2017 Broadway season at the Adrienne Arsht Center. I'm Pam Gigante. I hope to see you at a show.